Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation, Asia Pacific. Welcome, BV Jagadeesh, and also thank you for joining our interview program. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yes. First of all, Roger, thank you so much for having me as part of this. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be associated with University of San Francisco and then be part of this. I came to this country in 1982, and I actually had already finished my master's degree in India itself, and I had worked for a couple of years, and I happened to just get a job in a Silicon Valley high technology company. And since then, pretty much I have worked all my life until I started my own in 1993. I pretty much had worked in mostly startup companies. So I was sort of fortunate to work with different kinds of startup companies so that even though I was an engineer for many, many years, I got to actually see different aspects of building the product and then bringing the product to the market as well. I started my own first company end of 1993, which is Excellence Communications, where we pioneered the whole concept of internet data centers. We had version 1 of the AWS cloud that we used to offer to our customers. The company, we went public in 1998. I left the company in 2000 to start another company called NetScaler, which actually solved the problem for this hyper growth that the data centers were experiencing because of the server inefficiency. We dramatically reduced almost like 10:1 in terms of the number of servers that people used to deploy before to people deployed with the NetScaler. So that reduced tremendous data center footprint consumption, power consumption, the overall cost of running a data center for corporations. And that company, as you know, after 9/11, the entire market sort of collapsed. So we'll discuss that a little bit later. But eventually we came back and we built a flagship product, the NetScaler load balancers, which then started to do extremely well. And in 2005, Citrix came forward to acquire us. So for the last 10, 12 years or so, I've been primarily focused as an angel investor, and I'm working with the next generation of entrepreneurs, mostly in B2B and enterprise infrastructure, software, SaaS companies. About 40% of my time I spend on nonprofit organizations, both in the US as well as in India.
Discussion topic: managing customer requests to build right products.
I was thinking from startup or founders' perspective in this kind of very early stage searching about the product. I like your idea, kind of having customers to sit on your advisory board to give you continuous feedback so it can help you adjust. Any other thing startup company can do to mitigate this kind of a pain and uncertainty as they navigate and search for different product directions?
Yeah, especially for the product market fit.
Yeah. As I search for it. Yeah.
So the second key thing is as you bring the product to the market, it is not uncommon that your product will fall short by certain functionality and features. As you introduce this product to the customer, customer will ask a certain amount of other functionality that needs as part of that. Now, if it is a very process-centric product manager, then the product manager will say, hey, you got to wait until the next release happens. And customer is not going to wait that long. And in the early stages of your winning a customer, every customer that you win is very important. Every customer. That means you need to build an organization that is tuned to make each customer happy
Mm.
rather than sticking to your process.
Mm.
Okay. So this is where an entrepreneurial product manager is important to understand, and an entrepreneurial VP engineering is important to make sure that, because if I don't win this customer,
Mm.
I may not even exist.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Good point.
What is the point in building my next product 6 months down the road if I don't even have a customer, right?
Mm.
So that's why what I used to do
Mm.
to my VP engineering, I used to tell in my staff meetings that you break down your functionalities that you are developing as part of a
Mm.
release of the software into 3 different categories.
Mm.
First category is, what are you doing from the feedback that you're receiving from customers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, point number 1. Point number 2 is, with respect to competition, right? Where do we stand? So what are all the important things? Because customer will say, hey, this product does this ABC, and I must have that thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, then it's very hard for you to break in, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is, from our own perspective, what is it that you are working from an innovative angle? Meaning, which is the one that gives me the edge when I take this product to the market? So my VP engineering, every week in the staff meeting, has to put out these 3 columns. One is a column that is customer requests, features. Second one is competition, to be at par with competition or better with competition. Third one is your own innovation. So now, depending on where you are in the product release cycle, right, you can fine tune what percentage of your time is spent where. So when you release the product, you want your product to be used by more number of customers, and that means there's more feedback coming from the customer, which means the engineering must be spending more time on the customer feedback to very quickly turn around and fix these functionalities so that customers continues to be excited with the product and deploy that in their environment. So this is the balance that the company has to do, especially during the early days. And you cannot do this forever, right? But this is very, very, very essential during that initial product market fit. Yeah.
Actually, thank you. This is great, because in my class, strategy class, we did talk about these 3 perspectives to evaluate a new product, new strategy, which is customer perspective, competitor perspective, and a company perspective. And you explained it so well. And but I do have a follow-up question. Let's say maybe that's not a major question when a startup company does not have many customers. In other words, when you have multiple customers, but they kind of give you feedback, lead the company to opposite direction or to conflicting directions. Have you encountered that problem, or is this major problem for maybe not for the early stage of a product market fit because you don't have many customers?
Absolutely. This is a major problem. If you don't follow certain discipline, then you could pretty much become a consulting company. You see what I mean? Because
by BV, actually, for BV, for the audience to better understand, when you say becoming a consulting company, means you do not have standardized offering, everything's customized. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. Exactly. So you have one-off feature that customer A wants, another customer wants another one-off feature, right? So this is where the smartness of the product management, the founder, and the VP engineering all come into play. That when a customer gives a feedback about this is what I want, then you need to assess to say, is this part of my roadmap? Is this something more number of customers would need? Is this something that is going to significantly increase the value of my product? Right? You got to make that assessment and make it a priority to go do it. if it is all these one-off kind of a thing, then you need to, in a very clever way, answer the customer back saying that, we'll put this in the roadmap, and then over a period of time, we will execute on this. Provided, if it's a very large customer, and this customer says, hey, here is $1 million deal if you do this. If you don't do this, I'm not giving you this order. So then maybe on a one-off basis, you may need to do that. Yeah.
Like a large,
so my
large
VP engineering, my VP engineering was also a very smart product management guy. And every time when the sales used to come and ask for these kind of one-off functions, his next question was, what is the revenue you're going to generate if I do this for you? Commit to me. What is the revenue, right? Then the sales guy has to think. Yeah. But having said that, right, it's very important from a leadership perspective to build a culture that talks to multiple departments, right? The department heads in a very cohesive manner rather than in a very confrontational manner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because moment it starts to get into confrontational manner, then what I have observed in various companies is it starts to become political. And sales guy is finger pointing at engineering guy, and sales guy is finger pointing at marketing guy. Engineering is finger pointing at sales guy, or engineering is finger pointing at someone else, right? So there is constant finger pointing, and everybody goes into this defensive mode to avoid that finger pointing rather than solving the problem. Because in a startup company, everybody's mindset is exactly the same thing, right? To keep the company move forward. Every day, the company has to be moving forward. It is not about who is right, who is wrong. It's about we as a company, are we right or are we wrong? So that's the culture, that's the attitude that needs to be built into every leader's mindset. And the way I used to handle that was anytime I see this friction happening, I used to bring the two leaders into my room because I know everybody is saying it in the best interest of the company. It is just that you misunderstand the statement. So bring them to the room and have an open conversation, and then figure out how to reprioritize if we have to.
Thank you for watching.